You're invisible to women until you master these 5 traits. Machiavelli's Guide to Male Power. You stand at the edge of a crowded room, yet you are nowhere. A ghost drifting through flesh and faces, seen by none who matter. Invisible, not because of your face or your words, but because your power has never been claimed, never forged into a presence that demands attention. This invisibility is not mere misfortune. It is a sentence passed by your own failure to awaken the primal laws that govern attraction, influence, and desire. Ask yourself, how long have you wandered in this shadow, believing you're just unlucky or not enough? It's not luck, it's absence. The absence of something deeper, darker. A code written in the bones of those who command, who conquer, who are seen as irresistible. You are unseen because you lack the weight, the gravity that pulls others into your orbit. You have been a whisper in a room full of roars, a flicker extinguished before it could blaze. This is the cruel truth no one tells you. Women do not notice what is fragile or uncertain. They feel power, not in empty bravado, but in the invisible force that shapes the air around a man. Without it, you are a shadow without form, a breath without substance. You believe your invisibility is about who you are on the surface. It is not. It is the silence of unclaimed dominance, the failure to master the traits that ripple through the unseen currents of human interaction. Invisibility is a quiet death. It corrodes your confidence, starves your spirit, and blunts your desire. You feel the weight of it every time you look in the mirror, an ache of loneliness that no conversation or smile can fill. It is the echo of your own power denied. You are not invisible because you lack worth. You are invisible because you have not yet become worthy of being seen. The room does not care about your struggle. The eyes that wander past do not register your presence because they respond only to a deeper signal. A code of power, written not in words, but in will, mystery, control, value, and dominance. Until you speak this language fluently, you remain a ghost fading in and out of notice, forever on the periphery of desire. This is a call, silent yet urgent. To step out from the shadows means more than being seen. It means becoming the man who cannot be ignored, who carries the weight of influence like a second skin. It means learning the traits that make invisibility impossible, traits forged by Machiavelli's cold wisdom and the ruthless laws of spiritual power. These are not tricks. They are transformations. You must embrace the brutal honesty of your invisibility and meet it head-on. To awaken is to claim presence, not with noise, but with an iron will that radiates beneath the surface. The power you seek is not granted. It is seized, carried like a weapon into the battlefield of social interaction. Feel the cold grip of your invisibility now. Let it burn in your mind. This is the threshold. On the other side, waits a version of yourself that commands attention, effortlessly, who moves through the world like a shadow with substance, a force that draws eyes and commands respect. The question is, will you remain unseen, or will you learn the code to become unavoidable? This moment is your awakening or your fading. Your invisibility is not a curse, it is a challenge. The question lingers, heavy and relentless. How long? Will you stay in the shadows before you take the traits that make you visible, powerful, and desired? The choice is yours, but know this. In the game of presence and power, invisibility is the deadliest enemy. It waits patiently to consume those who hesitate. Now, step forward. The path begins here. Your will is the silent drum that no one hears, but everyone feels. It beats beneath your skin, beneath your breath, the invisible pulse that orchestrates every move you make, even when you think you're still. This is the origin of power, not in loud declarations or hollow promises, but in the unyielding intention that shapes your existence without needing to be announced. It is the root from which presence grows, unseen yet undeniable. Do you feel it? The quiet strength beneath your doubt, the stubborn ember of resolve waiting to be stoked into a flame. Will is not a choice. It is the undercurrent of every choice. It is the force that compels your body to lean forward when the world wants you to shrink back. It whispers commands to your soul, telling you to rise, to hold, to move with purpose no matter the chaos around you. When your will is fractured, you become a drifting leaf, bent by every breeze of opinion, every glance of rejection. But when it is forged into iron, unbreakable and relentless, you become a mountain unmoved by the storms of judgment. This is the first fracture line in your invisibility. Presence is not an ornament. It is a shield and a weapon. It announces itself without a single word. It is the gravity that pulls others toward you because they sense you will not be shaken. Do not confuse will with impulsiveness. It is not chaos masquerading as action. It is deliberate, calculated, a silent mastery over your own mind and body. It is the drumbeat behind every glance that holds attention, every step that commands space. Your will is the language that the world understands before you speak. It is your unspoken contract with reality, an agreement to impose your existence, fully without apology. Ask yourself, how many times have you let hesitation fracture your will? How many chances have slipped through your fingers because you waited for permission from the outside world? Permission never comes. The iron will does not ask, it takes. It does not seek approval. It commands presence through sheer force of... And your confidence is born here, not from external validation, but from the core certainty that you are the master of your moment. This certainty is not vanity, it is sovereignty. It is the internal fortress where doubt and fear are banished. Every breath you draw from this place reinforces your unbreakable stance. The invisible eyes of others are drawn to the man who moves, like a shadow with purpose, whose silent will hums beneath every action. You must build this will in the dark, where no one watches. It grows in the lonely hours of struggle, in the cold space between desire and action. It is a slow, relentless forging, hammered by your choices, hardened by your refusal to break. This is the first trait that fractures invisibility. The iron. Will that demands to be seen, heard and respected without ever uttering a word. Feel the weight of your own will now. It is heavy, yes. It is raw, yes. But it is yours. The question is, will you wield it, or will you continue to hide in the shadows of indecision? To claim presence, you must first command yourself. Only then will the world bow, silently acknowledging the unspoken power that resides within you. Your journey from invisible to undeniable begins here, in the steel of your resolve, the deliberate cadence of your actions. This is the forge of presence, the first step out of the shadows and into a light you create yourself. Your iron will is the drumbeat of your rebirth. Listen closely. It will not stop until you answer. You are not meant to be understood, not fully. The world seeks to label, to map the contours of your being, to make you safe, predictable, known. But in this predictability, you vanish. Attraction withers in the plain sight of certainty. To be seen, you must first become unknowable, an enigma wrapped in silence, a question with no easy answer. Ask yourself, what do you reveal? What do you withhold? Every word you speak, every gesture you make, is a thread in a web you are weaving. This web is not meant to trap others but to guard your essence, to shield the core that no one must penetrate too easily. Mystery is your fortress, unpredictability your sword. They slice through the mundane and strike a primal chord in those who seek to capture you. Do you feel the tension that builds when you refuse to be pinned down? The electric charge that ripples through the space between you and those who watch, waiting for you to slip? This is no accident. It is the deliberate withholding of your full self, a strategic silence that pulls like gravity. You do not owe anyone your entire story, your entire truth. The more you reveal too soon, the weaker you become. The less they understand, the stronger your presence grows. In this dance of shadows, you control the tempo. You decide when to appear, when to disappear, when to speak, and when to let the silence do the talking. This is the mastery of unpredictability. Never the same twice, always just beyond reach. Your value lies in this resistance to capture, this refusal to be fully known. It sparks curiosity, desire, and an undeniable pull. Women do not chase what they can fully grasp. They chase the force that defies them. Consider the power in ambiguity. It allows you to rewrite your own narrative in the minds of others. It lets you be the man who shifts like smoke, always present, never contained. This is not deception for deception's sake. It is a calculated game of control, where you hold the upper hand by limiting access to your truth. Unpredictability breaks the chains of expectation. It dismantles the scripts others try to write for you. It is freedom and power in one, a weapon forged in the shadows, wielded with quiet precision. To be predictable is to be boring. To be mysterious is to be magnetic. Let your presence flicker, like a candle in the dark, never steady, never fully exposed. Let them lean in, wondering, questioning. This is the true art of attraction, not in the flood of your self-revelation, but in the strategic drip of your essence. Mystery is not just what you hide. It is what you make others want to uncover. Feel the weight of your own unknowability now. It is a cloak that guards your soul, a veil that protects your power. Without it, you dissolve into the background, one more face lost in the crowd. With it, you become a force that pulls eyes, hearts, and minds into your orbit, compelled by the silent promise of something deeper, darker, and infinitely more compelling. Will you let yourself be fully known, or will you master the art of remaining an enigma? The choice defines your power. Unpredictability is not chaos, it is control. Mystery is not absence, it is presence. Your cloak is ready. Will you wear it? Your emotions roar like a tempest beneath your skin, yet your power lies not in their eruption, but in their silence. To unleash every feeling is to surrender your fortress to chaos, to let the storm break your walls from within. But to contain it, to hold the tempest in the dark recesses of your soul, this is where true mastery begins. Emotional restraint is not weakness. It is the silent strength that commands without a word. Do you hear the quiet within you? The pulse that refuses to break under pressure? This is the sign of a man who does not bend to every breeze, who does not crumble at every slight. Your silence is a fortress. It tells the world, and especially the women whose eyes watch you, that you are unshakable, untouchable, beyond the reach of their storms. It signals dominance not through noise, but through the absence of it. Emotions are the wild horses of the mind. Left unchecked, they trample reason, scatter focus, and reveal vulnerability. But when you hold the reins with iron fingers, guiding them into stillness, you become the rider no one can overthrow. The power of emotional control is a language spoken beneath words, a code that says, I am not moved by your chaos, I am the calm within the storm. Feel the tension when you hold back the urge to react, to show anger, frustration, or desperation. This restraint is a signal, a beacon of sovereignty. It unsettles others, draws them in, makes them wonder what lies beneath your calm surface. Women sense this power. They are drawn not to the man who loses control, but to the one who commands it with ease. Your silence carries weight. It fills the space between words with meaning heavier than any shout. It is a pause pregnant with possibility, a shield that deflects manipulation and tests loyalty. In this quiet, you forge a presence that cannot be ignored because it refuses to be provoked. Ask yourself, how often have you let your emotions betray you? How many times has a moment of weakness been a crack in your armor? Those cracks invite others in, weakening your hold on power and presence. But when you master restraint, you close those cracks, sealing yourself in a vault of impenetrable calm. This is the paradox. Power grows in what is withheld. Every unspoken word, every suppressed reaction builds an aura of mystery and control. Your emotional silence is a strategic weapon, less about denial and more about mastery. You acknowledge the storm within, but you refuse to let it define you or dictate your actions. Embrace this silent strength now. It is heavy, yes, an iron weight on your chest, but it steadies your breath and sharpens your focus. It signals to the world that you are a man who cannot be swayed, who stands firm in his own gravity. This is the magnetism that pulls others toward you, not through noise or desperation, but through calm, unbreakable presence. Will you be the man who lets his emotions drown him, or the one who masters the storm and becomes the eye of it? The choice is yours. Your greatest strength is not what you show. It is what you withhold. Your silence is your power. Will you wield it? Look into the mirror, not the glass, but the reflection you cast into the world. Your value is never a gift given by others. It is a fortress built within, forged in the silent chambers of your soul. When you seek approval, you fracture this fortress. You become a reflection of others' judgments, fragile, shifting, unseen. True power does not beg to be noticed. It commands presence by the sheer weight of self-worth. Ask yourself, how deep does your value run? Is it anchored in fleeting praise, or is it carved into your core with the certainty of stone? This inner worth is the bedrock beneath your every move, the unshakable truth that no external glance, no whispered doubt can erode. Without it, you drift, an echo, lost in the endless noise of seeking. With it you stand, unmovable, magnetic, undeniable. Feel the difference between craving, validation, and embodying value. The former is desperation masked in charm. The latter, a silent roar felt without words. Women sense this distinction instinctively. They recoil from neediness, from the hunger for approval that betrays insecurity. But they are drawn, inevitably, irresistibly, to the man whose worth radiates from within, whose presence demands respect because it is not conditional. This is no easy transformation. It demands the dismantling of false dependencies, the soft lies whispered by your own doubts. You must look inward and strip away the masks, the habits, the learned behaviors that tether your self-esteem to others' fleeting reactions. Only then can you reclaim your sovereignty, rebuild your foundation stronger than before. Consider how your presence shifts when rooted in unbreakable self-worth. Your gaze no longer searches for permission. Your voice does not plead. Your posture speaks before you say a word. This is the mirror you hold up to the world, one that reflects a man who knows his own value so deeply that it cannot be questioned. It is a spiritual psychology, an understanding that your worth is not measured by external trophies or moments of fleeting admiration, but by the silent confidence of self-acceptance. This confidence is armor. It is fire. It is the quiet command that repels neediness and attracts desire. You do not seek to fill a void. You stand whole, complete, and unshaken. Feel the weight of this realization pressing down, not as burden, but as power. The power to remain unaffected by the shifting tides of opinion, the power to walk through the world unseen yet utterly present. This is the transformation that shatters invisibility. When your value becomes a light, no darkness can dim. Will you continue to chase approval like a shadow, or will you become the man who shines from within? The mirror is held before you now. What will you see? Power is never loud. It is the shadow behind the words you don't say, the pressure behind the glance you don't explain. It is a silent currency, exchanged in the spaces between speech, in the pauses where others reveal their weaknesses. You do not seize power by force. That is the mistake of the desperate and the weak. True dominance is a subtle art, a quiet manipulation of the air, the tone, the presence that bends others' wills without a single command. Ask yourself, how often have you felt invisible because you failed to claim the space you deserved? The answer is simple. Power is the magnet that pulls eyes and minds to you, not noise or desperation. Women don't respect what they cannot perceive, and respect is the foundation of attraction. You must become the unspoken center of every room, the gravity around which others orbit, without uttering a single word of demand. This is the game you must learn, a chess match of social dynamics where every move is calculated, every silence intentional. Influence does not come from domination, but from control. Control over your energy, your emotions, your presence. When you master this, invisibility becomes impossible. You stop being a ghost and become a force. Consider how power operates beneath the surface. It is not about overpowering others. It is about guiding them gently into your sphere, making them feel drawn to your orbit without resistance. You become a puppeteer of attention and desire, pulling strings no one even sees. Women sense this. They feel the subtle current of your dominance, the invisible architecture of your authority. Power in social dynamics is a dance of tension and release, knowing when to push, when to hold back, when to reveal strength, and when to cloak it in mystery. You learn to read the room as a general reads a battlefield, anticipating moves, exploiting weaknesses, and maintaining unassailable calm. This calm is your greatest weapon. It unsettles and captivates simultaneously. How do you claim this power? Not by asserting yourself loudly, but by mastering your internal state. Your confidence becomes a silent roar that commands without speaking. Your gaze holds the weight of unshakable certainty. Your posture conveys a story of conquest before you say a word. This is dominance dressed in subtlety, power that whispers but echoes loudly in the minds of those around you. You are no longer invisible because you do not seek permission to be seen. You demand presence simply by existing with purpose and precision. This is the Machiavellian strategy of social power, to be everywhere and nowhere at once, to control without control, to lead without leading. You become the axis on which the world turns, the silent force no one can ignore. Will you continue to drift in the shadows, unseen and unheard? Or will you learn to play the game of power with mastery, becoming the man who moves through social dynamics like a shadow with claws, the man who turns invisibility into impossible? The choice is yours. You stand at the edge of a threshold, no longer a shadow, no longer the ghost that passes unnoticed through rooms, through lives. You have peeled back the veil of invisibility by seizing the iron will, cloaking yourself in mystery, mastering emotional silence, cultivating unshakable value, and claiming strategic dominance. These are not mere traits, they are the pillars of your resurrection. But this is only the beginning. What you hold now is more than power, it is sacred responsibility. You have stepped beyond the petty games of approval, beyond the hollow cravings of attention. This power you possess demands something from you, ruthless clarity and unwavering humility. To be truly seen is to be exposed, vulnerable. But you have learned the art of walking unseen while standing unbreakable. This paradox is your new reality. Ask yourself, will you carry this mastery like a crown or like a burden? Will you wield it with the cold precision of a blade or let it dull in complacency? The ascendant man walks a path few dare tread, an invisible sovereign ruling the inner kingdom where no one else may enter. This path is neither easy nor kind. It is carved from self-discipline, sacrifice, and the endless hunger for growth. To walk unseen is death, a slow fading into nothingness, a surrender to insignificance. But to walk awakened is immortality. Immortality not in flesh, but in presence. Your spirit etches itself into the fabric of existence every time you command respect without demand, ignite desire without desperation, and hold your place in the social order without submission. This is your rebirth, a man forged in the fires of solitude and silence, tempered by the wisdom of shadows. Your journey is no longer about chasing visibility. It is about embodying a force so magnetic, so profound, that invisibility cannot touch you. You move through the world like a quiet storm, unseen but felt, a presence that unsettles and fascinates in equal measure. Remember, power without purpose is poison. Your inner mastery must serve something greater, your growth, your sovereignty, your vision. This is the sacred pact you make with yourself, to honor the traits you have cultivated, to sharpen the edge of your will, and to walk this path with both humility and ruthless clarity. You are not a man seeking approval, you are a man commanding his own fate. Invisible no longer, you are ascendant, a shadow turned sovereign, a ghost reborn as a king. The path ahead is yours to claim. Every step an echo of eternal presence. Walk it with reverence, walk it with ferocity, walk it forever. Description: you're invisible until you master these 5 traits, the Machiavellian code of male power. You drift unseen through crowds, a ghost swallowed by the noise, not because you lack worth, but because your power remains unclaimed, dormant beneath the surface. This invisibility is no accident. It is a silent sentence from the failure to awaken your primal will, to embody the magnetic force that commands respect and desire. In this video, you will confront the shadows within, the fractured will, the lost mystery, the emotional chaos, and rise through deliberate mastery. It is a psychological journey of individuation, where emotional detachment and inner sovereignty become your weapons against irrelevance. Discover the ruthless traits Machiavelli's wisdom demands: iron, will, strategic unpredictability, emotional restraint, unshakable self-worth, and the magnetic silence of mystery. Through shadow work and philosophical healing, you will learn to wield presence like a weapon, breaking free from manipulation and reclaiming your unseen power. This is the path from ghost to sovereign. Takeaways: forge an unbreakable iron, will that commands presence. Harness unpredictability as a strategic tool of influence. Master emotional silence to protect your inner fortress. Build self-worth independent of external validation. Understand the power of mystery. In attraction, break free from manipulation through shadow work. Embody sovereign detachment and psychological strength. Transform invisibility into magnetic dominance like share and subscribe to awaken your hidden power. Step out of the shadows and claim your place as the unseen force everyone senses but few understand. Your empire begins now. Tags invisible to women. Master male power. Machiavelli male traits. How to be visible to women. Male presence and influence. Emotional control men. Psychological power men. Male confidence secrets. Masculine. Attraction tips. How to gain respect women. Male dominance traits. Forging iron will. Reclaim your power. Self-worth and attraction. Men. Emotional restraint. Masculine mystery and power. Becoming irresistible man. power of unpredictability, mastering male presence, social influence, psychology, dark psychology, attraction, silent strength, men, emotional mastery for men, karma and male power, philosophy, of male dominance, betrayal and revenge mindset, heartbreak recovery men, rebirth through self-awareness, psychological transformation men, magnetism secrets, Machiavelli guide relationships, images. You stand at the edge of a crowded room, yet you are nowhere, a ghost drifting through flesh and faces. Invisibility is not misfortune. It is a sentence passed by your failure to awaken primal power. You have been a whisper in a room full of roars, a flicker extinguished before it could blaze. Women feel power in the invisible force that shapes the air around a man. Invisibility corrodes your confidence and starves the spirit with every lonely mirror glance. The room does not see you because you lack the unspoken language of dominance. To step out from shadows means becoming a man who cannot be ignored. Your will is the silent drum beneath your skin, beating even in stillness. Iron will is the mountain unmoved by the storms of judgment. Hesitation fractures your will, letting chances slip, like sand through fingers. Confidence is born in the fortress where doubt and fear are banished. Will grows in the lonely forge of struggle, hammered by relentless choice. You are not meant to be understood, but to remain an enigma wrapped in silence. Mystery is your fortress. Unpredictability, your sword slicing through the mundane. Every word you speak is a thread in a web that guards your untouchable core. Unpredictability is the electric charge rippling between you and watching eyes. To be predictable is to vanish. To be mysterious is to become magnetic. Let your presence flicker like a candle, never steady, always just beyond reach. Your cloak of unknowability pulls hearts and minds into your orbit like gravity. Emotions roar like a tempest, but your power lies in their silent restraint. Your silence is a fortress, signaling you are untouchable amid the storm. Emotional control is the reins guiding wild horses of the mind into stillness. Your silence unsettles others. It is a beacon of sovereign calm. Every withheld reaction builds an aura of mystery and unbreakable control. Your power grows in the paradox of what you choose not to show. The storm within does not define you. Your calm mastery does. Your silence is a weapon heavier than any shout, a pause pregnant with meaning. How often has a crack of weakness let others invade your fortress? Emotional silence is mastery, a code saying, I am the calm within the storm. Your greatest strength is what you withhold, not what you reveal. Look into the mirror of your soul, not glass, to see your true value. True power is a fortress built within, forged in silent chambers of the self. Approval fractures your fortress. Sovereignty rebuilds it stronger than before. Craving validation is desperation masked as charm. Embodying value is a silent roar. Women recoil from neediness, but are drawn to inner worth like moths to flame. Your worth is carved into stone, unshaken by fleeting glances or whispered doubts. Without inner value, you drift, an echo lost in endless noise. With it you stand, unmovable, magnetic, undeniable. The game of presence and power waits for no one. Invisibility is its deadliest enemy. The iron will does not ask for permission. It takes what it demands. Presence is not noise. It is the gravity pulling others into your orbit. The silent drumbeat of your will commands attention without a single word. Hesitation is the shadow that swallows your light before it can blaze. Mystery is not absence. It is the presence of something deeper, darker, alive. Emotional restraint is not weakness. It is the silent strength of a fortress. To command presence, you must first master yourself in the dark. Your cloak of mystery is a veil protecting your power from easy capture. You are a force that moves like smoke, always present, never contained. The choice is yours. Remain unseen or learn the code to become unavoidable. Step forward. The path from invisible to undeniable begins in the steel of your resolve.